Vagabond Dog is a pilgrimage that we started a long, long time ago. Our message is indeterminate and our means are undisputable. We make video games because it seems to work, and we endeavor to teach the world the great truths of the universe.
At GDC probably 3 or 4 years ago, we kind of just found a spot in a hallway outside and sat on the ground, and Justin and Jake proceeded to tell us about Always Sometimes Monsters. So these two huge dudes are like telling us about this game about, you know, the hardships of life, and there's no combat, and it's about finding meaning and thinking about yourself as a player and yourself as you act through this game. It was just a total shock to both Graham and myself.
When you meet Justin, he's a force of nature, and in a very gentle way, right? And you don't have a short conversation with that dude. You know, any conversation with him is a commitment. You're going to be sitting there for a long time. Jake, on the other hand, is like Mr. Logic, right? He just pounds through the game and gets it done. So again, even that dynamic between the two of them is pretty refreshing.
When I met Jake and when I talked to Jake for 5 minutes, I was like, okay, so you're the straight man and you're out there, Justin. Like, Justin's like the emotional, driven, heart on his sleeve, sensitive, you know, like frenetic energy, like, you know, buzzing in his brain at like a higher frequency than everyone else. And then like I feel like I see Jake as sort of the anchor point.
I tend to go and create things and just steamroll ahead with content as much as I can, as you know, but I'm very bad at leaving things hanging. Jake is very good at finding all of the dead ends and finding all of the loose threads and figuring out how to tie everything back together and make it work coherently.
We formed around the first game, and now we've been working on the second game. I have more of a technical background, so I'll do kind of the technical stuff, as well as making sure that Justin's shit works. That's probably my biggest role.
It's this like balance between madness and sanity that like we've both completely surrendered to either side. I use things like an infinite loop with, you know, it's not an infinite loop because there's a probability of it breaking, but no guarantee of it.
He's the king of an infinite loop. Like, so he'll come up with all these crazy ideas, and it's like, okay, but this never ends, John. It's just like broken.
And so we clash at times, you know, over things like that. Overall, we trust each other. He trusts that the madness is not there for no reason, right? It's there to push us and find new things, and I don't think the sanity is there for no reason either. It's there to make it all work.
Pretty much every game we do is a game we want to play. So something about that project has appealed to us as a group.
The game sold well and the game reviewed well. Thousands of words were written about this game and kind of what it meant to people, and like I feel very personally connected to this game in a way that I'm not with, you know, most other games. It's a pretty short list.
Always Sometimes Monsters is a game where you play 30 days in the life of a person going from the East Coast to the West Coast, trying to win back the love of your life before they marry somebody else. Sometimes Always Monsters is the inverse of that first story. Here you play a best-selling author, recently married, life's going wonderful, and you've embarked on a West Coast to East Coast promotional bus tour trying to sell yourself and your book while you seek the inspiration to write again.
We tried to ignore them after they finished the first game. We thought, okay, that's good. We've pushed past that. But they kept on turning up at shows, you know, and eating our food. So eventually it's like, we might as well make this official. We're feeding you. I mean, you know.
What they're doing between the relationships and what happened in the first game and what you can do in the second game are super interesting. And there's not a lot of people are trying this. And I think not a lot of people would put that many deep hooks into a sequel.
If you haven't played the first game, I like the fact you can join it at this point in the narrative and get the same loop coming the other way. So that is really interesting, and I don't think anyone's tried that before.
It has to be a loop because life is a loop. It doesn't end when things get bad, and it doesn't end when things get good. They're just waiting for each other. If you look at, it's like the circle is like this, right? But if you like look at it from a sideways and it's perpetually moving forward, it creates this like spiral coil thing. And that's really just like up and down over and over and over again. But it's really like a cyclone, which is a vortex, and it's like going down or up, and it's all about perspective. And yeah, one arc isn't enough to explain all of that.
Sometimes Always Monster starts off and you're in a better place, but it still has this undertone of like it could turn bad at any moment. You never really know. Like you start to get too comfortable with life, and then it can like whack you in the face.
The idea that you've got this period of time to try and change your life, but no set route as to how you go about that, it's actually from a game player's point of view, that's really intriguing as a setup. You're like, yeah, of course you want to play that.